Alrighty, hello everybody. Stuff and things and stuff. We are on the internet. Shocking behavior. Hopefully we'll just get this linked out pretty soon. Alright, let's get into it. Okay, so hi everybody. We should be streaming right now. Fingers crossed, hopefully. There we go. You can hear me. I can hear me, probably. Um, Today I'm going to go ahead and review my run again from Worlds. Today we are looking at my round 6 game of Day 1B, playing against Alex Campos. Really nice guy. He's from Spain, and yeah, he's quite a good Rebel player. This is a tense game because at round 6 we both lost 2 rounds. I'd lost my previous game against Niels Voss. I'm not sure which rounds he had lost, but we knew that this was now down to the wire. There was no other chance at this point. You had to win every single game if you were going to win Worlds. So going forwards, he had a very interesting list, and I know a lot of you asked if you could have basically an idea about my rock deployments while we were doing this. So I'm going to go and have a bit of a chat about rock deployments at the start. And after that, because we've just skipped one or two of the ship moves, we'll just go into that and then go into the game itself. And then we'll go from there. So, just before we get started, asteroids. In this game, looking at the lists, you have my world's winning list. Vader with passive and afterburners, Inquisitor with nothing else because he doesn't need it. He's a pretty efficient chassis. And Whisper with passive sensors for the target locks and Fifth Brother for the Force, just to make sure she has as many passive mods as possible, as well as having that target lock for a real punch. If you have a look at Alex's list, he has the big beastie, Hera Syndulla. Dorsal turret, because dorsal's always great for just getting extra shots from the Ghost. Even though it's a big ship, it's a bit clunky. Hera's ability helps, but it's easy to get around the side of it, so the dorsal turret allows a good amount of firepower from the side at range 1 to 2. He also has a hull upgrade, just to make it a little bit harder to kill. For those of you paying attention, it also ticks it onto an odd number, which means you have to take one more hull on the Ghost to put it below half health. So if you're ever wondering whether or not to put a hull upgrade on your ships, if your ship presently has an even number of hull points, then it's a good idea, because adding one more makes it an odd number, and that means it's one more to half points, which is why whenever I put hull upgrades, if I'm flying my Falcon, I will put double upgrades on that one. So I will always try and make sure that the hull upgrade the hull and the shield upgrade goes on the Falcon. So you have 15 health instead of 14. If you have 14 health, it's still the same amount of damage. And going from there. Next one, Wedge Antilles, always an incredible shout for a rebel list. This one, Crackshot Afterburners. This is a fully operational Wedge. Doesn't need any help from buddies, just goes in and murders people. Afterburners allowing that boost as well as an action for offense. So if Wedge wants to go in and do something, he is going to do that. You can see Alex has these lovely S-foil tokens here that we got from Worlds. They're really nice. How got to go have fun. How did I do? Well, I won Worlds, so I did pretty well. So yeah, I won the damn thing. Well, that's kind of cool. So we got Wedge. Finally, you have a Warden Squadron. Now, this is the anti-swarm. If you have these two big ships, so Wedge and Hera are pretty good at killing aces. they're really good at killing aces just because they have so much firepower. 4 or 5 dice shot from the ghost or a decent shot from Wedge is going to do some damage to an ace. But against lots and lots of vultures, they're going to get chewed down pretty fast. So this is where this little K-Wing comes in. Diamond boron missiles. That's basically like the old assault missiles, pretty much. Anything at range 1 that has the same agility value rolls a dice and takes damage whatever's on the dice. Can do crits, I think, which is nice. He's got proton bombs as well with delayed fuses to mess with those as well. So if I just trigger the chat off for a second, you can see that. That's what the Warden Squadron has. So with that in mind, let's have a look at the rocks. I looked at this and went, ugh, because flying 3 aces, if I get in front of it, it kills me so super hard. So I've got to make sure that the asteroids are very spaced out. Surprisingly, a lot of people think if you're playing against a very jousty list, you want messy asteroids. I completely disagree. I think your asteroids want to be as spaced out as possible. This will allow you to have the space to dodge. You want to be able to do those boosts, those barrels. You don't want to be able to get corralled into a corner. If you get caught in a lane, then you get killed pretty quickly. I placed all 3 large rocks, one over here, and one over there. This one is just outside of 2-2, but these 2 are exactly on the 2 and 2. I placed this one to sort of not give away my plan initially. So you put the first one on slightly outside the 2-2 and make it look like you're trying to make the board messy. At which point Alex obliged and put this dead in the center, so I can now put these 2 across the corners. He was pretty sure that he didn't want asteroids anywhere either. We wanted the asteroids out of the way. Fine by me. I think it would have made my life harder if the asteroids had been in the way. So I don't have the sound on this one. A few of you requested me to have the commentary off. I've covered up the wonderful James Finlayson's face with the chat box, so sorry about that. First couple of moves, K-Wing did a 3 forwards, doesn't want anything to do with that. I deployed opposite the K-Wing, and the Ghost went in this corner. Inquisitor went 2 forwards, wanting nothing to do with the Ghost, and Whisper just comes around the asteroid and decloaks. The Ghost bumped into Wedge. Besides the placement itself, what obstacles did I bring and why? I brought 3 big rocks, 1, 2, and 3. They're really, really good for splitting up a swarm. Even vultures do care about the large asteroids. They like landing on them, but at least they make them predictable when they land on them. And someone was saying the other day about how I didn't find the rocks useful at all against the vultures. They always seem to just land on them anyway. That's correct, but at least it gives you a couple of bubbles, and by bubble I mean about space range 1 by range 1 that you can put your ace in. That will only take a couple of shots on the vultures instead of having them in their big block with overlapping firing arcs, where everything can shoot you. So it's not so much a safe space, but it's a safer space compared to what the vultures normally do to people. And against a sinker swarm or a tie swarm, the rocks are invaluable. You place 1 over here and you place 1 over there, just past range 2 of the edges, and then you go from there. So first couple of turns, a little bit cagey. Shock. Vader does a 5 forward up the side. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create an immediate flank here. The Ghost is pretty scary. The K-Wing really isn't a threat this game. Diamond boron missiles, it's 3 agility shot against my ships. Might do a shield, maybe. They're never going to be close enough together to cause any problems, and actually he's going to be doing more damage to his own ships if he triggers those. So it's a 3 dice gun, that's fine, it comes out the front. The proton bombs are more of a concern for me in this game. So just going through, the idea here is I need to get behind the Ghost. If I'm in front of it, it's going to do some very bad things. Same thing with Wedge. I want to be able to kill him quickly, outmaneuver him. In this game, I don't have a good first target. Really, it's going to be Wedge is probably going to be the correct first target here. But target of opportunity, if Wedge gets himself stranded, not really in the fight, and I can burn the Ghost down quickly. I do have a lot of crits coming out from my list. If Vader or Whisper gets into range 1, that is 4 damage almost every single time. Then, yeah, you can do some decent damage. It would do the Ghost would disappear fairly quickly. So over here, Whisper just pinging around the rock. That's the decloak. K-Wing decides to just carry on trundling. I think he does a 1. What does he do here? I can't remember. Where does he go? 1 forwards? 1 forwards. Nice little 186 quadrant token there. Lovely. So, and then he slams it because he's not really sure where Whisper's going to go. If Whisper comes down here, he just does 1 forwards. The ability to react to things is great for those of you playing against Phantoms. Make sure you judge as much as you can from that decloak, even if they're moving after you. You can still get an idea of where they're going. Yeah, so I did knock 3 poles out of the cut. Unfortunately, I really wanted my top 64 game on cut. I'm actually going to look up his name and you're going to hear me attempt to butcher it on stream because I can never remember it. Lovely, lovely opponent. Came 7th in the Swiss. So Shemis Shapik, I think. That's how you pronounce it, probably. Shemis or Skapik. I'm going to attempt to say that. But yeah, that was the Seer Swarm, Seer 4 Vultures, and Nantex. So I played that top 32. Anyway, so you can see Wedge here. Wedge is getting his flank on. There was a possibility that Inquisitor would have come in. Wedge could have got some early shots. He's still got his S-Force close, so he's got the boost available. Whisper Invader want nothing to do with the front of this ghost. Hey, thank you for the subs. I need to make sure that sub thing is... Where is that? Alert box. That's you know what? Let's do this. Let's do it this way. Let's move that back to there. There we go. Let's. I can leave the 186 Squadron logo out there for the moment. It's a bit janky. Let's turn it off for the moment. That's fine. I'll turn off the list as well. Those definitely help lists. Lovely. So, yeah. So Wedge is coming around here. K-Wing's coming around here, and now as we move forwards a bit, just to what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip through some of the planning phases again, just because there's no sense in wasting time. Whisper, not really sure where the ghost is going. Alex has done a really good job of keeping the ghost fairly still. This is a recurring theme, and you can see here that this K-Wing is a pain. As I said, the K-Wing wasn't very relevant in this game, or isn't going to be very relevant in this game. However, it is a great speed bump. For those of you looking how to fly Ghost and a K-Wing together, this thing is incredibly good at slowing down the Ghost. And Alex has obviously been practicing some openings and moves like this. It's just very annoying. Hera stays in her corner and waits for me to come to her. Which is a serious problem with the aces. It's not nice because of the fact that I want to be able to get behind the ghost. If Whisper ends up in front of a fully modified ghost shot, because it's very realistic with Saw on the ghost, he just takes a target lock on me, takes a single point of damage to turn all of his focuses into crits. Whisper is having a very bad day with only 2 of 8 dice. Inky says, I don't want to play with Wedge, and disappears because there is a definite possibility of Wedge coming in 3 bank and target locking. So Whisper clears out ASAP. Alex probably predicting that, just a nice little 1 bank there. And then he has repositional options. So does the barrel roll. For those of you wondering, this allows him, if he goes backwards, there we go, and that allows him a nice 2 hard next turn, or it allows him to 4 forwards, or even a 1 bank again, and then barrel rolling either way. He's just providing all of his options with Wedge. With the aces, because Wedge is an ace, you want to give yourself at least 3 options every turn if you can. 3 options will help you mess with your opponent's head, essentially. You know what you're going to do, but your opponent doesn't. So if you leave him multiple options, hopefully he'll make the wrong decision and then go from there. So there we go, end of round. I've kind of regrouped together because it seems clear that the ghost isn't going to spend too much time outside of this corner. It's fairly happy hanging around. Yay, thanks for the subs. Yeah, basically I'm trying to bait him down the board because as soon as the ghost comes out of its corner, I can get around the edge of it. So there we go. Hey, thank you, junkies. You guys are amazing. I was just about to start plugging the stream. So this is all thanks to X-Wing Junkies who were there at Worlds streaming. Amazing people. And you should totally watch their stream. Well, you know, I try. It's, thank you, by the way, guys. Also, you're born in the same year as me. Amazing, go you. I assume that's why you have 1991 in your name. Best year means you're just old enough to enjoy Pokemon when it came out first. Sweet. So moving forwards, let's just skip a little bit through this. Sorry to the junkies for not actually putting their commentary on. I almost did, but then I got a little bit complained at last time because there was a bit of a double echo. You can always watch the commentary. I am just streaming this directly from YouTube, so go and watch the X-Wing junkies because James Finneyson, who, if I just trigger the chat, you'll be able to see him. Where's chat? There's chat. Look at his beautiful face. Look at it. There it is. And yeah, the junkies themselves do a really, really good job. And also, there's Tyler Tippett's dad there. Isn't that wholesome? So, decisions and stuff. Hey, Fabian. Good to see you. I wouldn't say learning, more just listening to me talk. Maybe you'll glean some nice information through osmosis. Who knows? So, here we go. Let's look where the decloak's going to go, because normally decloaks give you information about where your opponent is going to be. So, decisions made. Going up the board. Lovely. Whisper decides, well, I'm not going to be committal. If she comes forwards, there's a possibility of Wedge doing stuff. I wanted to go a bit for Wedge here, but yeah, you can't get too aggressive. So if you get too aggressive in the middle here, hey, thank you, General Kenobi. But yeah, if you get too aggressive, you generally tend to have problems in terms of getting punched in the face by a 5-dice primary. So Whisper has to be fairly careful. The ideal place for her to be is behind the ghost. Alex is now getting out a little bit in the world. The ghost is committed. I can see some space for me to get behind it. This is good. However, he's now very much taken over the center of the board. Center of the board, if I go anywhere near this large asteroid in the middle, is ghost territory. For those of you who are good at judging ranges, range 3 is about here from that ghost. So just on the outside or like in the middle of that rock. It's harder to view from the top down, but it should be around there. Whisper does a turn around Vader and then barrel rolls, just to give her some more space. Again, she does have all 3 decloak options available here. She can go there in a half 1, she can go forwards in a half 3, or she can go backward just about and come around there. Inky does a 1 bank and decides, no, don't want to get any closer to the ghost. Marco Rexa, awesome. I'm glad you like the list. It's really fun. It has passive sensors out the wazoo. There's the 1 bank that we saw before. Always nice. And see, this was an interesting choice. I feel like Alex was just a little bit nervous there. So just to pause it on that and go back maybe 5 seconds. The 1 bank was a really good move. It's non-committal. You have no idea where your opponent's going to go. Just kind of sit there. At this point, I would be fully expecting a barrel roll left or right. If you barrel roll left and go forwards, you've got a nice little 3 bank, opening up your options over there, shutting off any flanks by Inquisitor. If you barrel roll this way, then you can just continue to go slow. Putting yourself there means I have as much time in the world to engage on this side, or I know, basically, unless Wedge is taking an asteroid for free and then sitting there with no actions, yeah, he's not going anywhere. So I got a bit happy when I saw him put the 1 bank down again, because there was no way that was clearing. Maybe he just got a little bit nervous, but there we go. Out of interest, Merkel Rexer, what is your favourite part of the list? I'm curious. My favourite part is Whisper. I'm not an amazing Vader pilot, but he's just too good to pass up. Vader did the too hard there, and then barrels backwards. Again, just stalling for time. I want the ghost here. If it's here, I can bait it with 1 ship and hit it in the sides with the other 2. So that's the plan. And if he gets silly with Wedge, I can jump on Wedge. So that's that. That's back to dials. Get some dials on the board. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so just checking, just making sure everything's going the right way. And decloak time. So, yes, Whisper's amazing. Oh, she's just such a fun ship to fly. It took me a really long time to learn how to play a Phantom. A really long time. I forced myself to learn right at the start of 2.0. I'd never flown it at 1.0 because I was always on Fathan, killing the Phantoms. But when I got my butt kicked flying Cynthia Fell by multiple Phantoms with Vader on board, here again you can see Alex doing a really, really good job of blocking himself and slowing down that Ghost. If the Ghost had gone 1 forwards here, easy flank from Whisper. But again, the Ghost goes maybe a quarter of a base length and stays there. Phantom, looking for the obvious flank here, comes right around the corner. And here's something I want to pay attention to for you budding Whisper players out here. A lot of people would have just left Whisper there with a focus. Now, I'm fairly sure I'm just about to do a barrel roll. Obviously, I'm doing this from memory. Basically, if you leave her there isn't quite enough space to decloak down this way. And even if I did decloak down this way, if the Ghost does a 1 bank or the K-Wing comes in, you're leaving her in a lot of trouble. If you barrel roll 1 this way, it leaves you enough space to decloak up to the edge of the board. At that point, you're gaining yourself a little bit more ground, you're staying at range 3, and if you decloak up this way and do a hard turn or a bank maneuver, there's always enough room for a barrel roll, as long as you don't do a 1 bank, as long as you've done a 2 bank or a 3 bank. There's enough room for a barrel roll, moving yourself sideways. That's what Whisper loves doing. So what she'll end up doing is she'll end up coming this way, coming into around this space, because barrel roll there, decloaks back to here, so she ends up basically there next turn. And then does a little 2 bank and a barrel roll to be over here. Alternatively, if the Ghost does do the hard 2, you do the 2 bank and you roll the other way and get out of this arc. Load it on the K-Wing. Give me a second. I will just move the chat window slightly. So let's put the chat window over here, shall we? Sorry, junkies. Covering up the stream. There we go. You can see Finlayton's face permanently. Oh, God. So there's the K-Wing. So the idea here is that with the barrel roll from Whisper, there we go. So I've just come around to have a look at it, make sure that I'm correct in my assessment. So yeah, and then we'll get a little barrel roll going on there once I eventually get around to it, which allows me, I think I then do the 1 bank next turn, but here comes that, skippity, 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 skip. I look at it for a while, make sure it's the correct move. It is. So we roll over there, backwards as far as possible. It still allows me a decloak 2 forwards next turn. Inquisitor then does a little hard 1 in. After he does a little hard 1 in, he does a little barrel roll, just to provide him with a good... Oh no, sorry, he just stays there. A good option for next round. He can do whatever he likes. Yes, Inquisitor is a trap. Absolutely. Now, I didn't think that would fit, which was really annoying. So I thought I was going to get free rock damage that turn. Because of that, what I end up doing is hard 3 from Vader. Because I was expecting to be able to do a hard 3 after Burner's boost straight, not be in range of that Ghost, and get a free range 3 shot on Wedge without a focus, because after his roll through the rock, he would have been around here. That would have been perfect for the range 3 shots. He's expected to get a single evade on 3 dice. I'm expected to get 3 hits on 3 dice. If he takes a shield from the rock, that means I'm pushing a crit in, and that's half points. But yeah, it was really close. Good job. So I will talk about Force Inquisitor in just a second. Very good question. I check the roll here. Turns out it's in. Again, just trying to gain distance. If I stay here, the Ghost just rolls forward and murders me. if I'm this far away, I can do an easy one bank, barrel behind the asteroid. Vader's got some pretty decent evasive options there. Next turn, I'm a little bit concerned, not going to lie. If you have a look at the board state here, there are many options for all of Alex's ships to jump on either of my big threats. Inquisitor isn't playing bait anymore, he is now support. I think this is now a good opportunity to talk about how I use Force and Inquisitor, so why not? Most of the time the Inquisitor is a bait, so a lot of the time he's running around and basically playing the chase me game. He's really good at taking shots at long range. If you take an evade and then have your 2 force for defense, means you're basically not taking any damage. Also, if you get into range 1 of a single ship, even Wedge, then you flip one of your force tokens, use that for defense to reduce their dice by 1, and then you have an evade and a soft focus for a single eyeball. Most of the time on 3 dice, you'll roll an evade, an eyeball, and a blank. That means you get 3 evades every single time, and your opponent should just cry because they, well, with 3 attack dice now at range 1, because -1 from the Inquisitor's ability, they shouldn't actually be able to do any damage to you. Apart from that, when he's at long range like this, I will take a focus and I will spend a single force for the long range shot. That means that I have the focus for a mod and a single force for defense. If I'm getting to the point where I've spent both force for whatever reason, I'll be normally quite careful. I will regen back up to 2 force as soon as possible, because that's how he survives. I saw a lot of droid swarms. How many droid swarms did I play? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 droid swarms. No full swarms. Every single one had a Nantex with it. Sorry, no, three droid swarms with the Nantex, and 1 full Nantex list. So yeah, I hate the Nantex now. It's horrible. Don't make me do it. Anyway, moving on. And quite a lot of scum swarms as well. The Torquil stuff. Right, so I'm gonna skip through dials again. Oh god, I took the hat off. Why did I do that? Yeah, it was a very fun rebel list, and honestly, Alex is one of the most skilled ghost pilots I've ever seen. This game was a real masterclass of how to fly Ghost. For those of you rebel players out there, pay attention. It's really good. Skip. There we go. So he's thinking about what to do. Right, we got all DARs down. Okay. Also, if you guys can't see, just as a heads up on the force tokens, 3 gold ones are on Vader. They have a little red dot on the bottom. These 2 are on Inquisitor. They've got lines around the outside, and purple on the other side. They're flipped, and this one is for Whisper, so you can tell the force. At which point, Whisper does the decloak backwards. I really like what Alex has done with his templates here. He's got the regional templates, but he has frosted the bottom of them. He's like painted them white, which makes it look really cool. I was hoping they'd be white the first time I got them. K-Wing has done a hard 2 to the right here. I just asked him to check it because the medium base is smaller now, and I was hoping that the K-Wing, he'd made a mistake, the K-Wing would move. Turns out he's just a really good pilot. K-Wing does not move and stays exactly where it is, which means because it's Hera, you can dial in a 1 forwards and choose for the Ghost to stay exactly where it is, or you can do a 2 forwards or a 2 bank with her ability and boost right over the top of the K-Wing to punch something in the face. So if Whisper had gone 2 forwards here, likelihood would be he would dial in a let's be fair, yeah, he might have been able to change depending on where Whisper declared, basically. Turns out he spent another turn stalling, so he crashed frontwards into it. Whisper comes in here, decides to barrel roll backwards. Wasn't going to be in range, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get blocked next turn by the K-Wing. That's the reason for the barrel roll there. Because, yeah, that could have been a very dangerous game. I was expecting the Ghosty to be coming in here instead of being stopping there, which is why I did 3 bank by the Inquisitor. As the Ghoster stays still, Inquisitor now needs to decide whether to stay put or do something else. Ends up staying there because Wedge could be a possible target option. turns out Wedge was clever. Most people would have turned Wedge in there. Just a quick one. I'll just wait until he gets out of the way. There we go. So this is the end of the Rebel turn. And basically, so this was where they started. And that was where they finished. So one turn, they've barely gone anywhere. Most Rebel players, after the end of that turn, so that was where they were, Wedge would have been around here. The Ghost would have been around here. And the K-Wing would have done something. I don't know, maybe go up here somewhere. At which point, I would have been able to come right around the side of all of these rebels, pick them off, and go from there. However, what Alex has managed to do by placing his ships in this position, he's delayed the turn, hoping that I would come in hot. And now he gets to pick on me next turn. How often do I use the Vader passive to do a barrel roll in combat? Only when I have to. It uses a lot of force. I will only do the barrel roll in combat if I'm against another 6. Alternatively, really good against tractor beams. Because against the Nantex, if you have a tractor beam token given to you, at the end of activation, you then roll back at the start of combat and go, haha, I still get to shoot you. Even if you roll back into a bullseye, or sometimes you can get out of their arc, which is hilarious. Anyway, 5 forward from Vader. As I was saying, I was expecting Wedge to be here, so I was going to boost in and punch him in the face. Didn't really work that way. However, he is there with a stress token and no force. I am presently working out some numbers in my head. The numbers I'm working on are how much damage can a Ghost with a sword do to me at range 3? Average dice from 4 hits is, what are we saying? Yeah, so he should get 3 hits at range 3. So if Vader does the Afterburners boost, tries to nail down Wedge, Vader gets 3 hits on Wedge, taking a force. So he should end up spending a force for the ability. He should end up spending his focus on the attack and the target lock, but he should do 2 damage to Wedge on average because I get 2 hits and my opponent gets 1 evade. The Ghost then shoots me, does a single damage to itself with Saw to get the modification, and then I should take a single shield. So all in all, I've done 3 damage for 1 shield back. My brain goes, I think this is a good trade, and I decide to do the boost. So I spend an Afterburners, I boost in, because I have a fairly good exit strategy for next round. So I decide that, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to get some damage on Wedge. Wedge is the threat. If I can kill him quickly, and putting shields on him is always good. There is a possibility that he completely blanks out. I put a crit into him, and it's only a single ship shooting Vader back. Likelihoods are that I could take no damage because I am at range 3. It depends. I'd probably take a shield, but I could also take no damage. So I thought that was a good option. I consider shooting the Ghost, and then I have a look at Wedge, and I believe I end up shooting Wedge. We'll work that out in a second. I'm just looking at points here, because I know that my ships are in a really good position to shoot the Ghost next turn, and they're not in a good position to shoot Wedge. I remember the Ghost has a hull upgrade, and I go, okay, so I need to do 8 points of damage to the Ghost to take it below half, and I decide, no, it's better to kill Wedge. That is my correct first target. So all of this is going on in my head while I'm playing the game. Slightly faster, because I don't have to explain it. But yeah, this is what I'm thinking about as I'm going through these options and these moves. So here we go. Messy board state, apologies. That one goes into a crit. We've got the second hit there. Third one is an eyeball. Spend a force. Oh no, spend focus. 2 eyeballs. So I spend the focus and I have the force of defense. So that is 3 hits. Junkie's cam is just coming in with the dice camera. So we'll actually be able to see, 3 hits and 1 evade. 2 evades. Single shield and Wedge. I got unlucky. Oh well, that's fine. So Wedge takes a shield, and then the Ghost has a go. And I get fairly sad because the Ghost says, cool, here's 4 out of hand. Ugh. That wasn't very nice. Surprisingly, he crits it. So he takes a shield, turns it into a crit with Saw, which was the plan, but it wasn't the plan for him to get 4 hits or 4 symbols. Vader then gets pretty unlucky, has to spend a force, and still takes 2 shields. That was a bad trade. That's when the dice say, not your day. Wasn't awful, I was a bit grumpy about that, throwing the shield into the dice can there. Quite helpful to those of you who play on stream. Please do show your damage cards and your shields to the stream if you can remember to. But yeah, so I'm in trouble now. I am not in a good place. Vader took a very bad trade, 2 shields for only a single on Wedge and a single on Hera. The Rebels have shields to spare, and yeah, I do not. So that's a problem. Anyway, moving forwards, let's just skip through the next few rounds. Whisper decloak, recloaks, and we go from here. So, my thinking going into this round, Vader's in trouble, he needs to get out. If he takes another hit, he's dead. And I don't have the firepower to chew through this ghost. So Vader just needs to get out of the way. Wedge is probably just coming a 1 bank and a 1 boost this turn. Inky, not in the best place. Probably going to get punched in the face by the ghost. Whisper is in a good position though. Whisper is in perfect flanking maneuvers, which we like to see. So moving forwards. Whisper has a lovely decloak planned. I'm still thinking what to do with Whisper because I'm mildly concerned that Alex, pardon me, might go for a bit of a bait and switch. He is very, very able to do a hard 2 with the ghost around this rock and just punch Whisper right in the nose. It does open up his butt to everything else, but it's not something that is going to make me enjoy my day. So first thing he does, which is a really clever move, is he dumps a proton right where Vader is going to be. Good job. So that makes Vader pretty damn sad. Whisper does the decloak this way. Over there he goes. Slightly unsure about what the end position of this K-Wing is going to be. I wasn't entirely sure where it was going to end up. So it was very, very close. You can't see underneath the ghost, but there was a piece of debris there. And it was a possibility that it could have... there you go. It could have landed on it if it had done the 3 forwards. Now this was all the eggs in the Vader basket. He doesn't take a damage from the debris. He does the 4K with the ghost, puts the proton bomb there, and says, right, Vader, let's kill you. At which point I shit a brick, basically, because you can't see, but Vader's dialed in a 5 forwards, and that is going to be a very, very sad Vader this round. But see where it goes. Ghost now has 2 stress. I've achieved my aim of getting behind the ghost. Yeah, it was a hero play from the ghost. I mean, you wouldn't have seen it coming, and it is the perfect trap for Vader. Alex knows he has to get one of my ships off the board quickly, and this will do it. If he catches Vader here, then yeah, I'm just gone. And he's got the escape down this way covered with Wedge, I'm assuming. So Whisper does 2 forwards and goes, right, I am definitely taking a target lock this turn. Triggers the passive sensors. Inky did a hard one behind the asteroid, so she didn't get nuked by the ghost. And maybe has a shot on the ghost through there as well. Wedge does a 1 bank. Thinks about his life choices. Doesn't really want to get hit by the proton bomb, but also wants to block Vader. So he's already taking a shield on the K-Wing from the proton bomb. But that's fine. The K-Wing's job this game is purely to sit there and throw proton bombs at people. That is the whole purpose of it. He decides that Vader might do a 3 bank, so maybe it's a good idea to stay there, or he might do a hard 3. Vader decided that it was time to hit the engines, and he was just going to run for the hills. That's pretty close to a proton bomb. That's not really where you want to be. At which point, if anyone's wondering, this is the perfect position to spend your afterburners. You do not want to be anywhere near that, because right now I'm clearly in the Ghost Arc. If I just do a barrel roll, I'm taking the proton bomb, and I have no shields because I took both of them last turn. So Vader is in a bit of trouble. So the distance covered by 1 bank boost and then a barrel roll is pretty large. So I chuck both of those in and then pray, because I was pretty close to the proton bomb, and I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to be able to get out of range of the ghost. So I do one of those and one of those. I've still got 2 force. I'm not getting arced by the K-Wing either, so I managed to dodge the K-Wing's arc. I'm just considering whether or not to go backwards, and how far backwards I can go. But yeah, I want range. I want range from that ghost. I consider spending a force for the focus, and I believe I do, because I cannot risk getting shot by the ghost without a focus. So the barrel roll was the first action, the focus was the second. I'm just mitigating, because if that ghost was in range, and it's really close, I would have been in so much trouble. So no one's in range of that, apart from the K-Wing, so K-Wing takes the damage. K-Wing doesn't really care. He's happy. Love and life. At which point, Vader has no shot, Wedge has no shot, we go to the 5s, and Hera is the important one. So, check some range. And just out. We pop a finger on Vader, we pop a finger on Hera, and about a millimeter out of range. Not bad. Bricks were shat, and Vader manages to get out of trouble. At which point, and this is really important for everyone to remember if you are shooting with Inquisitor and Whisper. Whisper does crits, she's got 5th brother. Always shoot the Inquisitor first. Strip the shields and then shoot the thing with crits. Remember that. So, moving on. Inky doesn't have a shot, so we go to Whisper. Whisper takes a shot through the asteroid at the ghost. 3 dice, range 3. Ghost actually has to evade dice. What is this? Consider shooting the K-Wing and then puts tight lock on the ghost. Again, thinking about what I can kill with the time remaining. I know I have about half an hour left. There's a lot of KG openings here. So, range 3, through the asteroids, into the ghosty. We re-roll that one with the target lock. We get 2 hits and an eyeball. We spend the force to turn it into a crit, and the ghost gets eyeball blank and takes the last 3 shields. So the ghost is now taking crits. That's a good thing. K-Wing has nothing on Vader. Whisper says, I don't care. K-Wing does a single hit. Whisper had the extra evade, so just auto-evaded it. Doesn't matter. Everyone regens, and Vader got out of trouble. However, Vader is now in trouble because that is an angry ghost coming his way next turn. Even though the ghost has 2 stress tokens, it can still use Saw. Doesn't really mind. So thinking about this turn, Whisper is cloaked, wants to get behind the ghost, but has a bit of an issue with decloaking this way. Inky has a very clear hard 1 or 1 bank in. The problem is Wedge. Wedge is a serious issue to his life choices because angry Wedge coming into Inky, bad idea. Vader isn't really sure where to go here. If the ghost comes forwards fast, because the K-Wing can just move out of the way, then he can get caught in range 1. There's no sense in going to the corner, so really Vader needs to apply firepower to the problem as soon as possible. If I can remove the ghost and take off Vader in return, I'm still up in points. So as long as I get both Whisper and Vader shooting into the ghost, it should go down fairly fast. So there we go. Yeah, Wedge is doing really well this game. As I said, I was very impressed by how Alex is playing this game. It's really good. He is forcing me to use as many shenanigans as possible. Right, so here we go. Moving on. Let's not waste time on the planning phase. 3 hard right is a big threat, but when you expect the Inquisitor to do a 1 bank or a hard 1, you probably want to do a 3 bank from Wedge. It depends what you want to kill. I think really you probably want to put your eggs in the Whisper or the Vader basket, so probably a 3 hard, but you can never be certain because if Wedge just goes and kills the Inquisitor on his own, which he can do, then yeah. So I had to be careful with Inky. The fact that Wedge was there threatening was a really big problem. Anyway, moving on, checking stuff, making sure that everything is correct. I should really clear up my table, so sorry about that. Jeff, you're going to be angry. Anyway, decloaks. Poof, suddenly Whisper. There was an option. I can't decloak backwards, I think, so I have to go to the middle. I could have gone down this way, but I wasn't sure whether or not I clipped the rock. I also wasn't sure whether or not there would be an angry K-Wing in my future. So I didn't. KOing does a hard 2 over this way. And fits. Beautiful move. Really close. At which point, tries to ruin the Inquisitor's day. Takes a target lock, Diamond Boron missiles. You know, pretty good. Importantly as well, look at where the arse of this KOing is facing. Right to where it needs to be dropping proton bombs. Ugh. Very annoying. Anyway, so where are we going? And Hera clonks. One forward, crashes straight into the K-Wing, gains the stress, loses the stress, stays in the debris. Again, keeping that arc, because if she'd have gone forward this turn and Vader had blocked her, then Alex loses the game. Vader had dodged her. He loses the game. But what he's done now is he gets an extra turn to see where Vader has gone. He's got a nice shot on Whisper if Whisper comes in, and just allowing him to do a lot more in terms of damage and everything else. So Inky went for the block this turn. I thought that Wedge might come in with either a 3 hard or a 3 bank. So I think, right, sorted. I was planning on getting the Ghost in arc because I was expecting the Ghost to be around here. I was expecting him to come forwards with it and try and kill Vader. So a 3 bank and a 1 boost probably blocks Wedge. I'm right where the 3 hard is. The 3 bank goes past me, which is perfect. I take the stress and the focus because just in case he does the 1 bank, I need a mod to help me survive. Whisper comes in, again being fairly non-committal. She loves staying at range 3, especially against the Ghost. And what this does is it allows me, I was expecting to be able to take the target lock. Now I can just do the barrel roll and get out of arc because I don't want to be shot in the face by Saw because it's really good. Okay, so we go backwards as far as possible, allowing me decloak options next turn. If I want to, I can go this way and hard 1. I can go this way and hard 1, or I can maybe come forwards. I was also expecting that for the K-Wing. And my thinking is that with all of the other moves, if Whisper then goes and jousts the Ghost, you can't see, but I've done a hard 2 with Vader. I shoot 4 dice and 3 dice straight into the Ghost. Whisper will survive a single shot from the Ghost, at which point the Ghost is almost dead. Whisper is only halved, and there we go. And he calls the block, which is really good. Yeah, damn it, Alex. So annoying. So yeah, that stings. Wedge comes in and goes, cool, I'll take a target lock, and just punches Inquisitor in the nose. Good play. I was expecting the hard 2 or the hard 3. Vader then goes, well, all right, then let's do this. I believe I barrel roll out of arc. So I take a target lock first. Do I just go for shots here? I think I go for shots here. I realise the fact that I've got 25 minutes left. The game-winning play is trading the Ghost for Vader and trying not to take too much damage out of Inky. So there we go. Vader is now putting crits into the Ghost, which is really good. So I thought, why not? Let's put some damage into it at long range. I've got the 4 dice. He's doing damage to himself with Saw as well, so if I can tempt him into using Saw on the offense, it's good for me. So I reroll everything, and I keep the... sorry, this was Wedge. So yeah, so he only got 2 hits there. Inky says, I'll take a shield. Thanks for that. So Inky had spent the force on defense. So Wedge only got 3 shots, has 2 defense dice. A bit unlucky not to get 3, but not out of the realms of possibility. 2.25 chance of, 2.25 damage on average. So it's harder to get 3 than it is to get 2. Vader spends the force, keeps the focus, does a crit. The Ghost again takes some damage, so hit and crit into the Ghost. So there we go. Yeah, it's true. I mean, really, you needed to get some aces down. He committed hard for Vader here, using the K-Wing as a bit of a speed bump, allowing him to get some damage onto Vader next turn. I feel like he was expecting me to K-turn maybe, and then dive me next turn. Unsure. So the Ghosty takes some damage, and the crit was something. Can't remember what the crit was. Possibly, I think it was a fuel leak, which was good for me because it's basically a direct hit because of Whisper with criticals. Inky has no shot. Hera decides that she could go for the Grand Inquisitor and get half points, or she can go for the long range shot onto Vader. Because I didn't have to spend my focus on defense, and the fact that Inky can just spend the force, there's no point in going for the dorsal shot here, because of the fact that I can just reduce his dice by 1 if he wants to, and then it's only 2 against 3, which you shouldn't do any damage. So I feel like he just goes to the 4 dice primary against 4 dice from me. 4 dice primary, he got unlucky there. The first roll averaged out, so he should have done 1 shield on each. Turns out Vader takes nothing from this one. There we go. Whisper takes a shot at the ghost. I agree with you. I think Alex's list is a really good efficiency list. If he'd have gone for Jake, I think he would just lose to Swarms every single time. The K-Wing isn't good in this game, but it's amazing against Swarms. It's really, really good. So, yeah, I would definitely do that as a thing. K-Wing says, oh, yeah, let's have a pop shot Vader. Vader doesn't care. And back to Dial. So, what did Whisper do? I think Whisper whiffed completely at the ghost. Oh, yeah, I had to barrel roll. So Whisper only got a single hit and he dodged it, which is annoying because it's got a fuel leak on the ghost. So Whisper did nothing, but oh well. Vader, Inky got very lucky that turn. Fair enough. At which point it's still 0-0 with 21 minutes to go on the clock. But the ghost is a single point above half. How many games until the top 8? So you want to see A-Wings, don't you? So this is my 6th round game. I'd like to do the Nathan Idy game before I do the Bartosz game in the top 8. But, well, you know, I say the Bartosz game, your Bartosz game, I should say. I'm probably going to end up doing the top 8 game next because of the fact that Gold Squadron are being slow. Damn it, Gold Squadron. Wanting to care about your subscribers and everything. So, you know, if you subscribe to Gold Squad on Twitch, then you get all of their vlogs immediately, or they slowly do them on YouTube. I have not been able to get it on YouTube yet. So eventually I will put the Nathan Idy game on YouTube. You get to see me having a real good game against Nathan and his Jedi. I will probably do the A-Wing game next, top 8 against Bartosz. Then we'll do the top 4 against Mitch and the final against DT. I'd like to do the I'd like to do the final last if I can, because I remember it the best. But anyway, yeah, my side of the table. I wasn't expecting the one-shot tally. I think that is that's the story of that game. Yeah, I felt like just talking to Bartosz here. I felt like because you were so careful in the first 2 or 3 rounds, it allowed me to get aggressive, and that allowed me to be in a place that I could win the game if the dice went in my favor. If you'd have been a little bit more aggressive, I would have been scared, and you probably would have beaten me. So maybe, I don't know. I just felt like Vader has to punch things to win the A-Wings. If you drop down some Dutch, you can get virtual turret going on Hera. Yeah, but Hera already punches really hard. I think she has the minimum upgrade she needs, and then it means that you can put the other stuff. I really like this. I really like this spread of Rebel lists. I think it's a very well built list. It's very similar to my Imperials in that it's a take on all comers. Hey Anna, I will commentate the other games at some point. Remember, you can always catch these games at any point on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/Ollie186. They're all available there. They will be up forever, so feel free to watch them back if you'd like, and then go from there. So let's just skip through a little bit. Planning. Making sure that nothing explodes. Right, proton bomb time. This is where Vader wants to be, so there has to be a proton bomb here. Another really good chance from Alex to get some damage onto Vader, because if he does 1 point of damage to Vader, he's halved. If he does 1 point of damage to Inky, he's halved. Whisper decides not to go play with the where the ghost is going to be. Goes probably doing a hard one then. Maybe 1 bank, 3 bank. I might have done a 3-bank. I can't remember what Whisper did. In my brain now would say, okay, a 1-bank would be good, so declick back to 1-bank. But I was also scared of the too hard from the Ghost. Sorry, from the K-Wing. So I think to stop myself getting blocked by a too hard slam, I decided to go for the 3-bank and then go over the top of the K-Wing. As it was, didn't make any difference because Alex decided to stand still again. Because he's just hoping to catch Vader at his arc. He knows that he can win this game as long as he does enough damage to my ships, at which point the Ghost needs to be shooting. So there we go. Sorted. So Inky goes, ah ha ha ha, I wasn't expecting you to be there. At which point he can't stay in Hera's arc. Alex keeps on keeping this Ghost still, and I'm not expecting it. I should, but I'm not. Because of this, he has to barrel roll, and Wedge has obviously done the K-turn. Like, there is no way in hell Wedge hasn't done the K-turn. The reason I've barrel rolled is there is a very slight possibility that Wedge hasn't done the K-turn, and he's done a hard 2 to come in on Whisper or Vader, at which point I block that. So I've got the focus, I've got a force to reduce his dice. He does do the K-turn. Inky is sad. But I'm about to kill the Ghost, so that's good news. So my thinking here is that, how much health is the Ghost on? 1, 2, 3, so it's on 9 health remaining. It has a fuel leak. It's getting shot at range 1 from Whisper. It's getting shot at range 2 from Vader. It's getting shot at range 1 from Inky. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 9 dice, plus the fuel leak. I should kill it. It has 0 agility. I have focus target lock on most of my shots. If I can get it off before it shoots, I'm not going to get it off before it shoots, but I can get it off pretty quickly. That K-Wing is taking another bomb, which means it goes down to 7 health. I need to do 3 more to it to halve it, and I still have 15 minutes left. So even if I take 2 halves on my list this turn, then I am reasonably sure that I'm then going to be able to be in a very good position to murder Wedge next turn. So that's the idea. And also, he's K-turned, he doesn't have any mods on Wedge. The chances of him actually getting a hit on the Inquisitor isn't as high as it could be. So there we go. That's my thinking. Inky is incredibly hard to kill. Range 2. I believe I just didn't think that was a range 1 bomb. Maybe this perspective is being odd. Did we forget the bomb? I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think maybe I just take the bomb. I can't remember what happened here. Maybe I wasn't in range of it, and it wasn't relevant. That bomb is very important, because it can put a crit on Vader. I think I didn't have enough force. Maybe. I missed it. I'm going to roll back. Let's see what's actually going on. Let's go back to Vader. What's going on with Vader? So Vader. Okay. So I only have. Did I forget to do a force end of last round? Ooh. Let's go back a bit. So I feel like at some point I forgot to do a force here. So I do that. I've got 2 force. Cool. Yeah, I forgot to regen a force. Oh no, I spent it on defense. Okay, there we go. No problems. Yeah, stream angles does make this stuff hard. Carrying on forwards. I'm reasonably sure that we do remember the bomb. Oh yeah, Vader dies. There we go. We remember the bomb. So yeah. That's yeah, Vader just gets one shot by the Ghost, and then the Ghost explodes. Okay. Yeah, let's just go back and make sure we got all that in the right order. So I think we forgot the bomb, and there's a couple of crits that could have made a big difference there. Oops. Oh well. That's a pain. This was very stressful. We were forgetting things. I haven't pulled a card yet. So yeah, whoops. Definitely should have done that. Either that or it wasn't in range and we just knew that it was a shield. I can't tell from here because it's just at the odd angle that could have been out of range of Vader because of the stream angle. So I can't tell you. I'm sorry. Because it's 1.5 base templates. But anyway, Vader does that to the Ghost. Extra damage coming in from there. Vader just explodes. So yeah, he gets 2 blanks and he's oh yeah. So okay, so he had already taken the he'd already taken the crit from the proton bomb. So he oh yeah, that was it. Thank you. That was the thing. So this is normally I can hear myself talking on this. Delayed fuses. Thank you, Harkon. So he put delayed fuses on the bomb, so it doesn't go off this round, it goes off next round. So we ignore the bomb for this round. So there we go. That we solved it. We solved it stream. That was what happened. At which point it doesn't matter anyway because he still murders Vader and just punches him in the nose with the Ghost. I spent the focus on attack and then didn't have any focus or defense. Only got a single evade and Vader was super sad. But that's fine because I'm expecting to kill the Ghost anyway. Thank you for the sub. So just before I answer the online practicey thing, we'll just get through this car crash of a turn because apparently real me knows what I'm doing better than actual me. Thank you, Hakon, for saving that one. Right. Anyway, sorted. Yeah, so, oh yeah, Wedge shot Inquisitor this round as well and did 0 damage. I spent a force, he only got a single hit, I rolled a single evade. It is the nature of K-turning that sometimes you get some bad dice. Only a single hit sucks. Wedge was definitely underperforming this turn. R4 is not on Wedge. Wedge has crack shot and afterburners, no R4, so he can't turn the corner. Whisper then does nasty things to the Ghost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 health remaining on the Ghost. Inquisitor says, I will do 2 damage to you, and then Whisper will unload and needs to do a single point of damage. So there we go. Sorted. He should have it, yes, but he is sitting on 200. So he can't. He only had 1 point remaining, so he put crack shot on instead. Personally, I'd be tempted to take off the dorsal turret for R4, but the dorsal turret is so big. I don't like delayed fuses. I would ditch the delayed fuses and put R4 on Wedge because I love being able to turn. At which point I have traded Vader for Wedge, and that's a really big deal. I got super lucky this round because Inky didn't go down to half, which is a really, really big deal. However, Whisper is in a beautiful spot to pick on a certain Mr. Antilles. So there we go. Just while this playing phase is going, hi Peck, good to see you. Did I feel like my online practice had an influence on how well I did? Absolutely. I practice most of the time on Vassal. I spend almost all of my time playing on Vassal. I get some games where I play in real life. I mean, every Tuesday I try and get 2 games if I can, but especially when the school term's happening, it's difficult to do that because I finish work most of the time at around 6:30 to 7 o'clock. So there we go. I mean, most of my games are spent at around 10:30 to 12 at night. I try and get 1 game in around then. So I'll try and play on average 1 game a day. So around 70 to 80% of my games are online. So yeah, online practice is a huge factor in me doing things and doing well, because otherwise I just wouldn't get the game time with the lists, and getting the practice in against common things is really important for a big event. I also had a couple of really good days with the 186 before Worlds. We put in some proper practice against the list that we were expecting to see, so Nantex was a big one. Droid Swarms, 5As, Imperial Aces, Sinker, all of these big bad lists that people have been seeing at the top of the meta. Nobody spotted Torkil. We saw it, but no one really played it, so I went into that one blind. That was a tough game. So there we go. Let's skip forward a little bit. So, thinking for this turn. We need to kill Wedge. Wedge is stressed, so he can't turn around. Inky is stressed, so he can't really turn around. There's an angry K-Wing that could hard 2 into here, and it could also just disappear off. I need to be careful with this proton bomb. So, Whisper's decloak options is singular, just the one. She comes up here, that's it. She needs to shoot, so she's going to do that. So where does she go from there? Likelihood is she's probably going to halve 1. Or maybe even a 1 bank. Probably a 1 bank. I'm kind of expecting the K-Wing to block me, which is fine. Like, that's not a problem. So Whisper comes over here. Because of the angle of this table, it's hard to see whether a 1 bank would fit against the rock. I think I do a 1 bank because I think I can get it to fit. Yeah, I think a 1 bank will fit Whisper in there without getting the stress. Even if she does get the stress, it's not the worst thing in the world. And I was expecting the K-Wing to do this, so I don't really care. There was no way in hell that the K-Wing wasn't going to block me. As it is, it lands on the asteroid. Great. So it kind of just did me a favor. I was expecting it to be there. At which point Inky says, I think a one hard into the left. Oh no, Inky just gets out of dodge. So Inky goes 3 forwards and says, nah, you're good. I don't want to be here. Yeah, I think I was too scared of the fact that the hard turn was coming in with the K-Wing, because then if Inky gets into the block brigade, because the K-Wing can just block you every turn if it gets it right. So thinking, right, 3 forwards over the top of the K-Wing if it hard 2's in, Whisper's over there, can pick on the K-Wing if it needs to. Inky can then boost out and dodge. Don't really want to be sitting here, so I either take an evade and stay put, at which point the Inquisitor has almost no chance. Yeah, there we go. I have to take the evade. It's shooting me with 2 dice because I've reduced its 3 dice primary down to a 2 dice primary. So shooting with 2 dice, yeah, I've got an evade, I've got force. Doesn't care. Wedge can't shoot me this turn because he's stressed. 1 bank coming in. Or maybe even a 3 forwards. 1 forwards, there we go. So, at this point, I need to preserve the point lead. Because I'm up on points, I need to make sure that I don't take a single point of shield on the Inquisitor. I need to make sure that Vader doesn't take a big hit from Wedge. If I do take that big hit from Wedge, I need to make sure that I'm trading back and making sure that he goes down below half health. No one's arranged the bomb, because delayed fuses. So we now go into shooting, and Whisper goes first. I think he does have a shot at range 1 because I didn't hit it. That was another reason to stay there, is that you just get an unmodified shot. You're not spending any tokens on it because you can't risk taking damage back, but at least you get to roll 3 dice into something. Whisper says, hitting a crit. Not rolling the dice tray because I'm a moron. Wedge loves... Oh, he took a... Why did he... Yeah, he took a target lock. That was a big misplay. Should have taken the focus. Then I do a single hit into the K-Wing, and he takes the shield because he has a chance to hurt Inky, not remembering about the fact that Inky never takes any damage, but he has to do it. Like, you've got to try at this point. He gets 2 hits. Inky says, cool, I'll just dodge all of that because I'm Inky. Good question. How would I have played that turn if he had R4? R4 would have meant he'd have been there. Inky would have done a hard 1. That's the only difference. Whisper still decloaks and comes in this way. Inky does a hard 1 down that way. If he blocks me and stops the hard 1, then he can't shoot Inky because Wedge crashed into Inky. The reason I did the 3 forwards is kind of trying to clear myself a next turn in getting away. I don't want this K-Wing to be in the way. I would have just had to take the hit and hoped that Whisper could do some decent damage. Big misplay from Alex here was not taking the focus on Wedge. He doesn't have a shot and he's getting shot. So if you're getting shot, always take a defensive action, which would have made a big difference because he wouldn't have taken any damage. So there we go. So Wedge is now on to only hull. 5th brother really coming into play here. We get some dials down. Whisper has some pretty good decloak options. I can go either way around the asteroid. Inky, well, the K-Wing is out of proton bombs, which is really important. Otherwise, this would have been a bad turn for me. Inky is probably just going to run, if I'm honest. 4 forward nuzzles me up next to the rock. Hard 3 to the left also gives me good options. There is a few. I'm not sure what I've done because there's so many options here. My normal brain would go 4 forwards, but then I would have spent a bit more time considering where all of those K-wing maneuvers would have put it. Likelihood is the K-wing wants to get into the fight, so a hard 2 this way would have been pretty good. 3 forward does get blocked by that and get shots. If the K-wing decides that it's going to do just a 1 forward and turn it out backwards, a hard 1 would actually be alright, because I could boost out of it. Maybe even a hard 2, because I know that Whisper isn't going to be there. A hard 2 could be a pretty good decision. But then I don't really want to get shot by Wedge, because dice happen, and sometimes you blank and your opponent gets crits. So I don't want to risk that if at all possible. I believe my thinking was that if I do a 3 forward and I land on top of Whisper, then that's the one place he can't be. So if I plan to be where Whisper is, then there we go. Oh, thinking with Whisper, decloak here, 2 forwards or 3 forwards. If Wedge turns, fine. If Wedge K turns, fine. All I need to do here is just do a single point of damage to Wedge. I've taken him below half. I can still take half on Whisper. I can take half on Inky. And I win the game because Wedge is expensive. So, because of the points difference here with the Ghost, I just need to make sure that I halve Wedge. So that's the plan. 2 forwards with Whisper. Take a passive Senses. I've got the evade. I'll spend it if I need to. This is now the damage game because X-Wings cannot get out the way quickly enough. So Whisper does 2 forwards. There we go. Triggers passive Sensors. He can't do the barrel roll out of arc either. He might have ended up in range 1 if he'd have done the 2 hard and the barrel rolled. But then he only has 4 dice without a mod. Did have the target lock. Would that have been a problem? Probably not. I would have still, if he'd have ended up in range 1 of me, I would have punched him super hard in the nose, and he could have just died. So there we go. Think about my options. Hello, General Kenobi. Think about my options. It's a pretty good option this turn. I'm getting more aggressive than Whisper than I normally would, but I know that there's only a minute left on the clock, and all I have to do is half Wedge to get the win. The only way that he kills me is by getting... I don't think he can kill me because I have 2 shields. Because he'd need a crit chain, he'd need a crit cascade. And if he gets a crit cascade, then he can't get a crit cascade because I have an evade token. So as long as I do 1 damage, that's fine. Yeah, he'll have range 1. So with 4 dice, he shoots me with 4. He gets 4 crits, say. I spend the evade on my defense, and he gets a single crit through. The only crit that makes a difference there is blinded pilot or weapons failure. And actually, weapons failure is still fine because I can still shoot with 3 dice at range 1. If he shoots me at range 2, I spend the evade and I make sure I only take 2 shields. So I've only taken shields and I'm not a problem. If he gets into range 1, which he does, he uses the afterburners. Then the only way that he gets me below half is if he rolls 4 out of hand, which is pretty unlikely. And if he does roll 4 out of hand, there's pretty much anything that he can do will be fine. So he's got his target lock in the Inquisitor. Inquisitor's just taken the evade token. I just need to stay alive. I'm taking a 3 against 3 from Wedge. Oh, he says shoot Whisper. Yeah, he goes for the win. 2 hits. Whisper doesn't care. Doesn't even need to spend the evade. Spends 1 to take a single shields because she's not getting shot from anything else. What he's going for here is he's going for the double half. So if he can half Whisper and half Inky, then he can win the game that way. It's much more likely than him fully killing Inky with those 2 shots. And likelihood is that Wedge is going down below half, so he's going to need the points. So Whisper does 3. Even if Wedge double evades and he double blanks, still goes below half. What's really important that a lot of people don't pay enough attention to is these little points values at the end of the game. You have to make sure that you are paying attention to your points and your opponent's points at the end of this game. Let's go back to that right at the end. Boop. There we go. So, yeah, you need to make sure of this. At the moment, it is 87 against 76. I looked up how many points the Ghost was. I know that Vader is 76, so I know that I'm 11 points ahead. If I'd have, it was about 10. Wedge had some pretty bad dice that game, but then he was shooting unmodified. It's actually average. That last shot That was average. Because he shot without a target lock, without a focus. He shot Whisper at range 1, he got 2 hits, an eyeball, and a blank. That's average. He shot Inquisitor at range 1, but I modified it down to 3, so he has 3 dice. He got eyeball, hit, and blank. Slightly unfortunate, but not the worst in the world. The real unfortunate one was when he had the target lock and he only got 2 hits on Inky. But then, again, that's not that much. No, he took the lock on the Inquisitor. I thought it was on Whisper, but it was on the Inquisitor. And yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're shooting, I managed to swap the ships in and out enough that if you're shooting the ships without the modifications, then you've got to get lucky. And he got average. He didn't get lucky. Really good game though. I've never seen someone fly a ghost like that. The way that the ghost and the K-wing worked together was incredible. Wedge was always in a good position around on the flank. Serious credit to Alex. He's a great player. And I felt really bad for knocking him out. Yeah, always shoot the thing that you have modified dice on. I have seen so many players complain about their dice and saying, oh, I only got 2 hits, or oh, I only got 1 hit, but they only had a single modification, or they didn't have a modification. And at which point, well, okay, don't split your fire. Tenet number 1 of X-Wing. Shoot the same ship with everything, because then you kill it faster, and then you're up on ships, which is great. Second tenet of X-Wing, always shoot modified dice. Dice modifications are the goal in this game. So this is why my ships, every single one of them can have a focus and a target lock. Most of them can have evade and a force on defense as well. Vader doesn't have that, but he has 3 force, so he's pretty good at not taking damage. And this is why I expect Vader to go down the fastest out of any of my ships. Even with 2 agility dice, it's harder to kill Whisper than it is to kill Vader, because of the fact that Whisper is just harder to catch positionally. So there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a fun one. I was stressed to the eyeballs for the majority of that game, because having a really big cannon on the board that is Hera is really, really scary. It's very, very good. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts. And yeah, Force is good. Who knew? Who knew? But yeah, really, really, really good game, that one. And I'm looking forward to reviewing my next ones. Should be doing my next one tomorrow, for those of you looking at timing. Probably during the day, because I'm on half term right now. So I have time to do all of this stuff. I may even do one later this evening, depending on how much time I have then. In which case, Bartosz, that will be my top 8 game against you. So Bartosz Fuzitsky, really good game against the A-Wings. And there we go. So have a good evening, guys. It was really good to chat with you. It was really good to see you. If anyone has any questions about this, just message me. Find me on Facebook. I don't usually reply to comments on my YouTube videos, just because for some reason the notification function is really hard to toggle. So just message me on Facebook. I'm easy to find. And yeah, go from there. Hey, fly casual guys. Have a good one.